Welcome back to the channel and to another WNBA video. We got Game 2 action coming our way for Tuesday, October 1st. So we're going to break down and analyze each of the two games on the slate. We'll talk about which way that I'm leaning as far as the points and the spread, and we'll also talk about any player props that I found for those games that I like. And then any picks that I put in officially myself, I'm going to list right down there in that pinned comment. So make sure you check back in. That way you can see if you'd like to ride along with me. But before we get into those games, we got to go over what we took on Sunday and how that ended up going down. And we put a same game parlay in for the Liberty and the Aces game. Took the Liberty on the money line and then combined that with a alternate total, 166.5. Took the under. We get that at plus 150 odds, and we do cash on that one. And we took Jackie Young, her points under 12.5. Now, one of you down there in the comments, man, you called me out on that. You said, hey, man, don't fade playoff Jackie against these Liberty. Man, good call. You were right, man. She finishes with 17 points, and we do not cash on that one, unfortunately. Then we took Benaje Laney Hamilton of the Liberty, her rebounds over 3.5, and we cash. Then we took the Sun in the second game plus 4.5, and they win that one outright, so we cash on that as well. Finish the night 3-1, 11-3 so far through these playoffs. So let's keep that energy, good energy, rolling right into these game twos here. Now, let's not waste any more time, guys. But before we get into these, one more thing I need you to do. Make sure you smash that like button down below and hit subscribe if you have not already. Now, let's dive into it. We got the Aces taking on the Liberty. Liberty are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under sitting at 164. The Liberty, man, they took game one, and they did so in pretty convincing fashion, right? They won by 10, 87-77. They jumped out to an early 22-11 lead with a few minutes to play in the first quarter. They never looked back. Although Vegas was able to pull within a possession, or two, a possession or two a few times throughout the game, New York never gave up the lead. They never trailed at any point in this one. Now, if you watched our video from Sunday regarding Game 1, I highlighted a couple areas specifically that I thought would be key factors in this game. One was the depth that New York has over Vegas. And I mentioned how, you look at the Aces box scores and you'll see time and time again how one or two players go off and the rest are pretty quiet, right? Well, we saw more of that on Sunday, although I guess you could say at least this time it was three of their players that contributed the most, but that's how I have to put it because I wouldn't call it going off by any means, Asia, Plum, Jackie Young, they all combined for 62 of the Aces' 77 points. They shot 24 of 49 overall from the field, 6 of 16 from deep. The rest of the team, 15 points on 5 of 18 shooting overall, 1 of 10 from deep. The Liberty countered that with their depth, and while Stewie and Ionescu, they combined for 55 of the Liberty's 87 points, the rest of the New York team put up a solid 32. I also talked about the rebounding disparity. That was the bigger one, man, and New York has won that battle in each of the previous three matches this year leading into Game 1, and it proved to be more of the same as New York won the battle again here in Game 1, 31-22. The Liberty, they also shot 42% from deep, 50% overall from the field, while the Aces only connected on 28% shooting from three, 43% overall. Look, man, this feels like a matchup nightmare for Vegas this year. The height that New York brings to the table, along with that depth, have proven to give Vegas fits all year. The Liberty are now 4-0 over the Aces on the season. And Kia Stokes is a huge liability on the offensive end, man. Her production was non-existent in Game 1, 0 points, 1 board, and only 13 minutes of action. And, it's not far off her season averages, but the thing is, New York has capitalized on this, and they did so specifically on Sunday. They left Stokes open, moved her defender just to the ball, and they created an extra defender for some double teams, and they just gave Vegas fits in the process. Money has come in on Vegas, and this line has dropped to just 3.5. And while I get expecting Vegas to bounce back, I'm not behind it personally, man. At no point this season have they shown they can hang with this New York team, right? They don't show the same intensity or the same focus that we've seen from New York. The Liberty look driven to redeem themselves from their finals loss a year ago to these Aces. And the Liberty have a better track record in a multitude of ways this season. They're 9-0 when they're facing an opponent for a second straight game, doing so on average by 12 points of victory. So give me New York here laying the 3.5. It almost feels criminal, man, like I'm robbing Vegas by taking it. But hey, I'm going to tell you right now, they have taken my money plenty of times over the year, so maybe I can get a little more back here with this one right here. So yeah, I'm going to lead New York with the 3.5 points. And then for the total, we saw this open at 163.5, the same as game one's total, and it's now at 164. I leaned under in game one, ended up taking that alternate at 166.5 to be safe, and thankfully so. Total landed over that 163, but just over at 164. I'm still leaning under for this one as well for game two. And for the same reasons as game one, man. These two play each other physically, they play tough. And if Vegas just shows even just a little more effort on the defensive end to open this one up, they gave up 28 in the first quarter, right? Just a little bit more effort here to open this game on the defensive end. We should see an under in this one. Vegas has hit under this line here at a 70% rate in their last 10 on the road. New York, 60% in their last 10 at home. The Aces, man, they have struggled scoring the ball this second half of the season. They've hit under in 8 of their last 11 games now. And their team total is sitting at 80.5 as well right now. And that feels scary when you look at this Vegas roster, right? But looking at them against the Liberty as well, we've seen them land under this number in 3 of the 4 times that these two have played. They only went over this mark once in that first meeting in mid-June, all the way back in mid-June, and they did so by only 1.5 points, landing at 82. So that team total might be worth a look as well. And for a player prop, I'm looking at Jonquel Jones. I'm looking at her 3-pointers made under 1.5. And we just jumped over here to Outlier, guys. If you have not gotten on to Outlier yet, make sure you check down into the pinned comment. You can also find a link in the description. I'll have it in both spots. Man, click that link there. You're going to get a free 7-day trial to try out Outlier for yourself. And it is by far the best sports research app that's available out there, guys. I know for a fact that it's helped make me a better. Every time I say that, it makes me laugh. A better. But it does reign true, man. It really has helped me out tremendously since I've started using it. I really focused in on the spreads and the totals. That was my gig for a while. I did not really mess with player props that much, but ever since I've got on the Outlier, man, it really has broken it down and just given me an extra bit of insight on these things, a lot of things that I may have missed before. So definitely helps out. It's definitely been a useful tool. And, at the end of the 7-day trial, if you feel like, hey, this is definitely a useful tool, it's only $19.99 a month after that. So, you got to think about it, man. And, if you're just a casual bettor, it might not be the thing for you. But if you're putting any kind of coin on these bets, man, you cash one of these bets, man, that's going to pay for your $19.99 a month. So you really don't got much to lose here. It's a great tool, like I said, but let's dive into it. You'll be able to see firsthand here a little bit just how useful it is. We're looking at Jonquel Jones, like I said, her 3-pointers under 1.5. Now, if we slide over here, we can find this on FanDuel at -114, also available on Bet365 and Prize Picks. Outlier is great. It's always going to tell us where we can find the best price on all the sports books that this prop is available on. But if we look at her in her last 5 games specifically, she has smacked under this number at a 100% rate. Green is good, guys, and it's nothing but green down here, right? It'll be red if we don't like what we're seeing, if she hits over that number. No red here. We can kick it back 10 games, right? And then we're still hitting at an 80% rate. A little bit of red, but a whole lot of green. That's what we'd love to see, right? We go back even further, man. Let's just check the consistency. 16 of the last 20 games that she has played, she has hit under this mark at, again, an 80% rate. And then head-to-head against the Aces, 85%. In the last 13 games, she's hit this under at 11 different times, man. 3 of the 4 games that they played this year, the lone exception being that first game, like I said, way back in mid-June. And if we look over here, man, Outlier, they give us these insights from time to time that, just basically like a trend, and it'll kind of filter this down here to whatever that trend is up top. And what we're looking at is Jonquel in her last 6 games at home specifically, she has hit under this mark at a 100% rate. Now, if we look over here to the right, we can see how the Aces fare against, on defense against 3-pointers for 3-pointers made allowed, right? Overall, they are middle of the pack at 6. Against centers, they are giving up the second fewest threes to centers. So definitely helps us out here with this under bet. Like I said, Jonquel Jones under 1.5 3-pointers made. You can get that at -114 odds. Get that over there on FanDuel. And next up, I'm looking at Sabrina Ionescu, her assist over 4.5. Now, this one is juiced at -145 on DraftKings and on Bet365. If we look at the Aces for their assists allowed, they are sitting at 3, right? So not too bad against guards when it comes to assists allowed. However, Sabrina's a whole different animal, right? In her last 5 games, she's hit over this mark at a 100% rate. And if we look at her in her last 10, 90%, 9 of her last 10. Now, just like John Quell, man, we can keep pushing this back further into her last 20, and she's still hitting this at a 80% rate. 16 of the last 20 games, she has gone over this mark. Now, head to head, we do see some red creep in, right? So this is where it gets a little bit concerning, okay? In the 4 games that they've played this year, she's hitting at a 50% rate. So she's either booming, look, we got 12 assists here, but once again, full transparency, that was that game way back in mid-June, okay? Then we've seen a 3 assist outing, we saw a 4 assist outing, and then we saw 5 in game 1. So she is sitting at 50% when it comes to head-to-head against the Aces on the year for this prop here. If we look at this outlier insight, though, she has hit this 4.5 assist mark. She's hit over that in 8 straight games now at a 100% rate in the last 8. So there are definitely a lot of numbers favoring this. There's a couple numbers that make it a little bit more scary, so it does come with a little bit of risk. Now, next up, we are looking at the Connecticut Sun and the Minnesota Lynx. This will be the nightcap again. This time, we don't have to determine if we're going to watch this or Monday Night Football, though. I definitely chose the Sun and the Lynx personally, but I know it was kind of a toss-up for a lot of people, probably flipping back and forth between the channels if you follow the WNBA, but also follow the NFL as well. Fortunately, we can just focus in on the Sun and the Lynx here, and rightfully so, man, because Game 1 was a blast. It was a hell of a start to this series, and I expect this one to be a close series, man. I expect each game to be close like this and be fun. But the Sun jumped out to a 23-16 lead after 1 quarter there in Game 1. Then they were outscored by Minnesota 46-34 through quarters 2 and 3 before winning the fourth 16-8 and bringing in a 73-70 dub, a 1-0 series lead, and doing so on the road against a Lynx team who finished the season tied with New York for the best record at home. So an impressive win from Connecticut. Statistically, man, they took it to Minnesota when you start to break it down, right? Both teams shot 41% overall from the field, but the Sun, who ranked 11th for three-pointers made through the year and a middle of the pack 6th as far as three-point shooting percentages, finished with 9 made shots from deep, shooting 40% from the field, or from deep. The Lynx, on the other hand, were held to only 25% shooting from deep by this stingy Connecticut defense, going just 5 of 20. The Lynx were out-rebounded 39-32, and the Sun dished out more dimes as well, 24 to Minnesota's 16. The turnover battle was even, but the Lynx actually did double up the Sun as far as points scored from those turnovers, so you consider that there. And the fact that Minnesota, a team who finished 3rd for three-pointers made on the year, 1st in three-point shooting percentage, if they don't shoot that bad from deep, do we see a different outcome? The question is, though, can the Lynx figure out this Minnesota defense enough to find any success from the perimeter? Connecticut did an excellent job bringing help down low on Fee, opening up shots on the outside, but besides Carlton, the Lynx only mustered 2 threes on 14 attempts. 0 for 3 for Alana Smith, 0 for 2 for Fee, 1 for 5 for Kayla McBride. So, do we expect to see them shoot this poorly back-to-back at home at that? Is this Sun defense the sole reason for that output, or were some of it just simply, just an off night shooting the ball? Because that happens to the best of them, right? In the Lynx' lone win this year over the Sun, they shot 43% from deep. And then in a 5-point loss on the 4th of July, they lit up the skies. The fireworks weren't the only thing going off that night. They shot 52% from the perimeter. But they went just 4 of 21 in the first meeting. So I expect to see them shoot better in Game 2. I expect them to get the win even. But 5 points is asking a lot of a team that's only been able to beat a team once in 4 tries, and only by 2 when they did so. These 4 games have been decided by a grand total of 11 points between them. The biggest win being a 5-point win. That was from Connecticut. So all things considered, I feel the same as I felt in Game 1, right? I can see a path to get behind Connecticut here full game, but it's scary, like really scary, considering this Lynx team is a damn good team themselves. They are at home, and are we really, really, going to think about putting our money behind them going down 0-2 at home? I can't get there myself. Like I said, I do think the Lynx win this one, But I also can't get behind them winning this one by 6 points. So I'm taking the Sun here with the 5 points. I've already put that one in myself, so you'll definitely find that in the pinned comment down below. I snagged that one early this morning when I was on my way to the job site, man. I took a glance at the lines, was like, is Vegas tripping? Like 5-point spread again. We're going with another multi-possession spread when we've only seen that happen once between these teams so far. So strange to me. I'm jumping all over it. Give me the Sun plus the 5 points. You can get that on FanDuel. It's sitting at like 4.5 on some sports books, but you can hop over there to FanDuel and still get that at a good price. So that's what I'm on right there. And then for the total, the number is crazy low, and it makes sense looking at game one. We landed at just 143 total points. The previous 3 meetings, though, have seen 2 hit over this mark, and then 1 land under, but on the hook right at 151. So I'm going to lean over again. I leaned over in game one. And, we came in well under the number, so bad call on my part there. But I can't look under here, man. I'm going to lean over again with I feel like the Lynx have some positive regression as far as 3-point shooting. And just, knocking in a couple more threes should push this one up over that 151.5 mark. It just feels pretty damn low to me. So with that in mind, like I said, I'm gonna lean over, but it's a slight lean. I'm not sure that I make it there again. I didn't. That's what I said in game one. Like this is a slight lean. I'm not sure that I get there. I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't. I'll probably stay in the same boat here, man. I'm leaning that. It's a slight lean. I don't think I get there. Chances are you'll see me in the next video say, I'm glad I didn't get there. So that's where we're at with that one. Now let's look at some player prop. Looking at DeJounte Carrington of the Sun, her points and rebounds over 16.5. Now we can get this on FanDuel right now for -102, which is a great price when we consider the next best sportsbooks that has it available, -115. Here's the thing that's concerning, okay? We look over here, Minnesota against guards. They are second for points allowed. We know this, man. They're a great defense, right? But they are ninth as far as rebounds allowed for guards, okay? And if we look at them, or look at her in her last 5, she's hitting this at an 80% rate to the over. In her last 10, a 70% rate, 7 of her last 10, okay? In the last 20, just keep pushing it back. 13 of those last 20 she has hit, still in the green here at 65%. All right, now, here's some red, right, for the head-to-head action. We don't like to see that. 4 out of 11, okay? But here's the thing about that. This is where we start this year. This is the first game this year. The last 3 games, she's crushed this number. This is against the Lynx specifically. So, 17 points, 15 points, 13 points against that second-ranked defense as far as points allowed for guards, right? 6 rebounds, 4 rebounds, 9 rebounds. So we're getting up over this 16.5 mark. We're kind of crushing it, right? We're not, like, close. This one here, a little close. But, 23, 22, we're looking good there, right? And if we look at this insight from Outlier, she has hit this mark 6 of her last 7 times on the road. She's actually averaging 19 points plus rebounds in that time, hitting at an 86% rate. So I do like this one here for DeJounte Carrington, over 16.5 points plus rebounds. Like I said, we can get this a damn near even money, -102 on FanDuel. So I definitely think that's worth a look. And then last but not least, looking at a first quarter prop for Alyssa Thomas of the Sun, her points over 3.5. Now, look at this down here. In her last 5 games, 100% hit rate. Now, she's just getting over it, right? 4, crushes it here with 6 against the Fever, but the Fever's defense, obviously weak. 4 again against the Fever, 4 against the Lynx there in game 1. We look at the Lynx for their points. We know that they're sitting at second, right, overall. We look at them against centers. Now, we creep more towards middle of the pack. Now, they do have an excellent rim protector down there in Nafisha Collier. Besides that, man, Alyssa Thomas can kind of bully them around down there. She's tough, man. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, I've said it before, she's that, like, Draymond Green type in the W, just minus the head case issues, right? But we can get this at plus money, and that's, I think, what makes me like this the most, and the fact that she's hit this at a 100% rate in her last 5 games. But plus money, 112 on FanDuel. Head-to-head, she has hit this number in 3 of the 4 games that they've played against Minnesota this year. No points in that one, but 5, 4, and 4 in the other 3, right? And then 7 of the 11 times that she's played Minnesota, or 7 of the last 11 times that she's played against Minnesota, she has also hit over this number. So you got to like those odds there. So guys, that is going to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed the content today. If you found it helpful or useful in any kind of way, please do not forget to smash that like button down below and hit subscribe if you have not already. That way you do not miss out on any of the content we are dropping daily. That's going to do it here, guys. Best of luck. Hope you have a great night, and we cash out. I'll see you on the next video.